gonna do it. It's gonna do it.
There it is. All right, there we go. Grrrr. Greetings, humans. Greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled, but yet, I don't know, trepidatious episode here. Bear's actually kind of diving in between the showers here, in the center of the storm, the eye of the storm, as it were. Actually, it's not really an eye so much. Just kind of in between cells, I suppose. We've got, oh gosh, what's the name of it? Claudette. I believe his name is, tropical something or another Claudette out there. So Bear is kind of dodging between the showers, so it's going to be kind of an interesting episode here. If Bear happens to all of a sudden disappear all of a sudden for no apparent reason, probably either the electricity has went out or the internet has went out, or a combination of the both, or, you know, a tornado has came through and totally destroyed everything. So that's kind of the fun that we get here. And you know, in the good old Florida here, you know, it got all these people kind of moving down. Oh, I'm gonna move down to Florida, get out of all the snow and blah 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 blah. And they come on down here and find out that it's like 100 degrees outside with 110% humidity, and we also have, you know, hurricanes and alligators and you know, the occasional bear out there trying to get to people. So you know, it'll be kind of interesting to see how many of the newly transplanted people from up north take after a hot summer, and hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully we're not going to have a bad hurricane season, but you never know, people. You never know. So there we are. So anyways, we've got that going on. Gosh, we've got a whole bunch of things. You know what? I wish that Bear actually had a kind of a musical intro that he could have. I don't know, something kind of like early 90s rock or something like that. That would be kind of cool, you know. Nice little grunge and bass sort of deal. Some of the other live stream people actually have kind of their own little theme music and stuff like that. Bear actually needs some of that. He needs, I don't know, you know, where they have, you know, like maybe like the late 70s kind of live bands that they would have, where they would have the, you know, they'd be at the end of the show, and, you know, the main guitarist, and then, you know, he would get in, but then all of a sudden the bassist would come in, and then of course the drummer couldn't be outdone, so he's like, and of course, like the main singer doesn't want to get outdone, so he's like, all right, thank you, Cleveland. And it goes on for like 25 minutes, and then you know, by that time, I mean, pretty much everybody's left or passed out or something like that. So Andrew J says, opening theme, my better than Ezra. There we go. All right, there we go. Thank you, Andrew J. Thank you very much. So anyways, was kind of thinking about that the other day. They actually had I don't know. I was trying to, and we'll get into it in just a minute. There's a whole shebang going on with it, but I was trying to look at his box opening. Bear put up his box opening for the Battle Maiden book, and oh gosh, it's still the HDR, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But it's decided, you know, check that out late in the day, and Uncle E had his stream up, so I was like, all right, hey, let's check it out. It's like the first minute or so, it's like a 10-minute, freaking 15-minute long introduction, and they have like the, I don't know, what is that song? It's like, you know, the turn around, da, 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 da. You know, that thing, and it's like, I think it was the, what was the one where they're flying around on the dragon, and what, the never-ending story? I think it was that one, and it's like, can we get something that's not as well, you know, something that's at least, I don't know, in the past 30 years, maybe, you know, Beer's experience doesn't go that far back, and kind of, you know, very much, very, Pride Month approved that song. So yeah, need a nice little hard rock introduction for World Bear. Yeah, there we go. So anyways, all right. Andrew J says, "Ooh, you got Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb number 2." Yes, I do. Yes, I do. In fact, let me enough of this jibber jabber. Actually, I hope you guys like the. Hope you guys like the thumbnail that Bear had here, just kind of going through some different pictures that he had. But let me see. Let me get to the thing with the thing, and there it is. So there is Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. Actually, number 1 and number 2. Let me get to it here, but yeah, very much. So we're actually going to be doing the review of that a little bit later on, but a couple other things to get to first. But yeah, we've got Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb number 2, and of course Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb number 1, and of course Bear is also wearing his jersey as well because going to be keeping Bear's actually going to be keeping one eye on the game and one eye on the stream, so we'll see how that goes. But anyways, enough of that jibber jabber. Let me get back to everybody here. So click off of that and go back to the thing. No, not that thing. No, not that. There we go. There we are. So there's a nice little thing there. So yeah, we're going to be doing Battle Maiden in just a minute. So we'll find out about that. Turnaround, P Money says. Every now and then I get a little bit closer. Thanks to Bear. Now that's in my head. It's stuck with that song. I don't. It's not that great of a song, but there you are. Sometimes in the vein of The Touch from Transformers the movie as a theme. Okay. There we are. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if I remember that one, but yeah. Anyways, trying to come up with some sort of theme for Bear. But anyways, enough of the jibber jabber that we got going on. Actually, we've got an update here from last week. Let me see if I can get to it here real quickly, because I mean everybody was kind of oh, that was a very interesting thing going on there. So I've actually got an update for it. Let me see if I can get to it here. We were actually talking about the D.C. County Jail, and they were going to do a voting for their, I don't know how you would describe it, but why is it not showing? Why is it not showing? The device not connected. Is it not? It is connected. What's going on here? Bear with Bear for just a second while he tries to fix his stupid freaking. I tell you what, this happens every time with OBS. Okay, so not that. Okay, so I do that. You click on that. No properties. Okay, all right. So I'm going to add. Gosh darn it! I tell you what. Let's see. It would be under the display, right? Display capture. Okay, display. We'll call it display capture 4. What the hell? Because the other ones don't work. All right. Let's see. And that's that. And does it not crop it? Oh, of course it doesn't crop it. Oh, all right. Well, okay. All right. 1 second, people. Bear actually tries to do every once in a while a professional show. It's not going to be today. He hoped it was going to be today, but once again, if it's not YouTube, it's something else that is screwing up. It's screwing up for Bear. All right, there we go. There we are, because now we can actually get to it. Because the best candidate probably always wins. I would say the best candidate always wins. So when all your candidates come from the jail, you probably want to pick the one with the most experience, I would suppose. So they actually went through, I can't believe it, but they actually went through the voting process. And congratulations, a convicted murderer wins a D.C. Advisory Neighborhood Commission race from his jail cell. This would be CNS News. Melody Archer, I believe she did that the last time. And congratulations to Joel Caston, the newly elected member of the D.C. Advisory Neighborhood Commission. There we are. A convicted murderer won the race for D.C. Advisor Neighborhood Commissioner of a district east of Capitol Hill. Oh boy. From his jail cell this week. Joel Caston, congratulations, was convicted of first-degree murder for killing, so I would assume you would be when you kill somebody, when he was just 18 years old. As CNS News previously reported, he was, and actually Bear reported as well, he was one of 5 incarcerated candidates who were vying for the seat. And now, at 44 years old, he will represent the D.C. neighborhood that includes the D.C. jail, the Harriet Tubman Women's Center, and the new luxury apartments right across the street from the jail. As the ANC commissioner, Caston will receive a tablet to attend upcoming meetings and use email to keep in touch with constituents. I've been saying this. I've been saying this. I feel presidential, Caston told WUSA from inside the jail on Wednesday. I feel like the president, a public servant who can deliver. Yes, indeed. Actually, I probably would say that Mr. Caston's rap sheet is actually probably smaller than the current occupant there. When asked what the public isn't hearing on the outside that needs to be heard inside the ANC meetings, Kasten said, I think the main thing missing from these conversations is our humanity. Unless you're, strangling the life out of another humanity. That would be kind of bad. Oftentimes, when we are incarcerated, we can lose the sense of a person's identity. Well, that's because you end up becoming a number. But that individual is still a human being, even though if you scrubbed out another human being's life. I can't live my life in the chateau. Well, neither can the person that you murder. I can't live my life in reverse. I have to be forward-thinking, Kenton says. And moving forward allows me to keep my eye on what's most important. That's being the best person I can possibly be. Yes. Kasten expects to be released from custody in the next few months. Oh my goodness. If he no longer lives in the district, he won't be allowed to represent the areas as the commissioner. Well, that would be kind of interesting. Would you actually have the first inmate that wants to stay in jail? You never know. Never know. I need to look after my people here in jail. He submitted a second look petition, which gives those who are incarcerated the chance to be released from jail or receive a new sentence after serving 15 years. Hey, just because you killed somebody, you shouldn't spend your entire life behind bars. God forbid we do capital punishment or anything like that. It also offers resentencing to those convicted of a criminal offense before turning 25. Yes, that's right. Because, even though you can vote when you're 18, you never know. Is killing people a bad thing? You don't really find that out until, after age 26 or 27 there. Bear was 20, probably 20. He's 29 now. So, he learned that relatively recently that you probably just shouldn't murder people straight up. So there we go. I want to congratulate Joel Kasten on first you get the city commission or county commission, and then you just kind of move your way up. He already says he's feeling presidential, and what's a convicted murder charge to keep somebody from 1600 Pennsylvania there. So congratulations, Joel Kasten there. All right, let me get out of this and go back to your chats here real briefly. Let me do the thing with the thing and the thing. Before you do the thing, and why do I have 5 different display things up there? Why doesn't it work? I tell you what. Andrew J says, I bet he got the endorsement from Marion Barry. Yes, there we go. He feels presidential. Maybe he should paint his place white to feel even more like the president. There we are. And he also says, P Money says, in his defense, Bear tries to eat the postman every day, and I don't. And let's see, and I don't bear in prison. I gotta read that again. In his defense, Bear tries to eat the postman every day, and I don't bear in prison. I don't think there's bears in prison, I think is what he's saying. Great job, Joel, and happy Juneteenth. That's right. We got to celebrate whatever the holiday is for today. So there we are. All right, let's see. They're not started yet. All right, so Bear can continue on because we actually got a couple, just a very few. It's not very many, so we're just going to jump right through it real quick. Just a couple of... there it is. Just a couple of updates here for you guys. Let me see. Just one real quick from Gary Shipman. If you got the Titan, which if you didn't, Bear can understand it wasn't cheap, but man, that'll look pretty good. Titan Mouse Artist Edition. Titan Mouse of Might Artist Edition. There we go. Whatever it is. The Titan Mouse Arts. Let me get a drink. I tell you. The Titan Mouse Artist Edition art files are now at the print. Try saying that 3 times fast. That's pretty hard. We are just waiting to approve the proofs, and then the book will be printed and shipped to me. Well, probably Gary. And then he says, I will start getting the book out to backers, and this is getting exciting. Thank you all, Gary Shipman. I think that's supposed to be a T and not a D. Exciting? I don't know. Anyways, we won't harass Gary on his spelling there. And very briefly, from Kyung Lee, we're going to talk about this in just a moment. Fulfillment is 95% complete. By the way, I just got to say, one of the best kind of, I don't know how you describe it, fulfillers? One of the best campaigns out there that get stuff out very quickly. I guess fulfillment. I don't know, something like that. Anyways, Kyung's got that down with like a science, so he's doing pretty good on that. He says, "Hey everyone, hope you're doing well." No, I'm not. Urgh. Yeah, it's okay. Except for the giant tropical whatever outside Bear's window. Just want to let you guys know that there are less than 100 packages left before fulfillment is complete. Once I get everything out tomorrow, that'll conclude the second and final week of fulfillment. So we got that out within 2 weeks. That's pretty good. And I plan on launching the Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb #2 Standard Edition and Run Back campaign next week. He says probably on Tuesday, so circle that. Circle that on your calendar. The Runback perks will feature books from the previous campaign, namely the Premier Edition. Basically, what Kyung does is kind of put it out, and I'll show you in just a second, what he calls the Premier Edition, which is kind of the... the regular version has, what is it, kind of a, I guess, newspaper stock paper, where the Premier Edition has the more traditional comic stock, I guess. So he does kind of two different ones there. I guess the standard, or what does he call that? Yeah, the Standard Edition is kind of the one that's meant to be read and reread and reread, and the Premier Edition, and you keep it up on your shelf. But you know what? No, Bear doesn't do that. He reads through it. Reads through both, I guess. Let's see. But there will be a limited number of these perks available. I have to tally up the inventory this weekend to get an accurate count before the campaign goes live, but the Mikuro Comic Club members will be receiving an email at launch with links to the hidden 10% discount perks. Ooh, there you go. The club perks will also include an exclusive club trading card. If you've backed one of our previous campaigns, you've already been part of the club. But if you're not sure, you can sign up at the... pardon me. There we go. On the Mikuro Comics website. Thank you guys so much for your support. None of this would be possible without you. Well, little Timmy McTimerson won't. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Well, even though little Timmy's ordering it, Bear's not going to let anybody tell him otherwise. That's right. So, anyways, there we go. Talking about Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. He's going to do the Standard Edition. Looks like he's doing it for 30 days. I hope he keeps it longer than that, but there you go. 30 days, get your Battle Maiden. We'll go into the review in just a second, but without going too much into it, go out and get it. Go out and get it. I don't know, if I forget who said what last time that they didn't get it, but yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely check it out there. So, all right, let me get out of that. Oops, dang it. I always do that. There we go. Actually, let me do the... there's Bear. There's Bear he is. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. P-Money says, sorry, don't want Bear in prison. That's what... yeah, you don't want that... or to drop the soup, either one. Boy, how many comics has Timmy been deprived of? Actually, Bear was asked how many has been back so far, and I think last time he checked, I think it was somewhere right around 90. Now, I think some of that is like duplicate orders and stuff like that. So, if you order 2 books or something like that, I'm not sure if that counts or something like that. But anyways, about 90 or so. So, I mean, not bad for... for what? Going almost on 3 years now, I suppose. Let's see. Bear started his show, I think it was July. It was in the middle of July somewhere. So almost 3 years there. So, yeah, I mean, what? You'd figure maybe 20 to 25 a year or something like that. So there you go. But kind of slowing down just a little bit there. But that's all right. That's all right. Okay, so let me get some drink. Most important of all, because we actually got, let me get to it here. Turn on the light. Gotta turn on the light, otherwise it doesn't look right. All right, let me do the thing with the thing. And the thing. There we are. There we are. There it is. Actually, you know what I can do? Let me do this number. Let me see if I can do this. And then, oh, Bear, you're going to do something amazing, aren't you? There we are. Let's see, where can I put this thing? Can I put it over here? There we are. There, I'm talking about although it's talking about Graveyard Shift there. We're actually talking about Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. So, there we are. There we go, because we're going to talk about Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. Both number 1, look at this. It is out of there. And number 2, let's see. You see, number 1 is over there off to the right, and number 2 is right over here to the left. I think the card is getting a little washed out here, so I'll take that off. But here you go, so you can see. Sorry, P Money, if I'm getting you in trouble here, but there we are. He was getting a little trouble last time because Bear was showing some stuff, and I don't know if Lady P Money was too thrilled about that. Oh, and Bear, very important info. Montreal. Oh, well, we're not going. I don't want to bore Andrew J here. Don't want to bore Andrew J with the P Money and Bear sports show here. Actually, you know what? That would be a good thing. You know, what's the commercial? It's like the Emu and Doug. So it would be like it would like Peabody and Bear. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Bear actually saw that last night. Crazy stuff. I tell you what. But you know, we got the old one rooting for. Let's see. Can I get his number there? There we go. Oh, Palat. My man Palat there, number 18. So there we go. Keeping a close eye on it. 15 minutes left. No score. Crying out loud. Anyways, all right. Enough of that. Actually got stuff to go on. Actually, we need to talk about comics, not sports hockey. Actually, Bear's he was gonna try and do a thumbnail with I was trying to do something with horse hockey, but I couldn't find any good pictures with horses with skates on them. So had to go with the second attempt here. All right, enough of this jibber jabber. We actually got Battle Maiden here to talk about. Enough of that. Okay, let's see. Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. Am I missing something? No. Okay. So what we got here, got Battle Maiden the other day. Just very briefly, I want to just kind of mention this, and let me know in the chat, or let me know elsewhere if you're watching this later. Bear, one of the things Bear's trying to do is do what's called HDR video, which is kind of a wider gamut of essentially would be colors, but also light levels as well. The best way to describe it is kind of the boxes of crayons that you would get. They kind of had the smaller box. That's kind of what you're looking at now. And then what would be HDR would be the big, huge box with like 50,000 different colors in it. And that would be the HDR. But YouTube doesn't really like it very much, especially when you're trying to upload it, and Beer's had a lot of issues with that. So wanted to have the box opening out first, was trying to get it out yesterday and then today, and it's just not working. I don't know what's going on. I might have to change it around or something like that. But long story short, it actually came. Let me see if I can. Bear with Beer. Because it actually came with a bunch of different goodies, which is, Kyung, kind of went all out with it. He's got this little standee here. There we are. Pretty cool. And a number of prints, nice prints. There's actually 2 of them there. Let's see. And where are the? I don't have it right in front of Bear, but a number of cards as well. So if you got this and all the swag that came with it, man, oh man, what a package, what a package deal that he was able to come out with. So I hope some of that stuff is going to be coming in the, what did he call that? The standard version. Some of that stuff comes in the standard version. If not, maybe kind of offer that for people. But he did a really good job with that. But we're just going to talk about the main comic here instead of all the swag that's going on with it. But so Battle Maiden 1, this one, was one of Bear's favorite comics. Wasn't expecting it at all. Not a manga fan at all. Hadn't really ever read a manga comic book before. If he had, doesn't remember it or anything like that. So the manga thing was very new to Bear. Kind of had to learn a couple things about it, but I guess the first big thing was that it was in black and white. It wasn't in color or anything like that. So it was all line work. So it really kind of depended on the quality of the artist and his artwork. To come through the page, you weren't hiding behind a bunch of oh, look at all the colors. Oh, they're great and everything. So yeah, that was one, and it started out slow. There's one thing about Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. First, I don't know, he divides them up into chapters, so you get 2 chapters a book. So each book, has 2 chapters in it, 4 total so far. So about halfway through the first chapter, it was a lot of setup. They were setting up a lot of the characters, a lot of the background story, a lot of the world building and such. So it took a little bit. Bear was kind of, oh, I don't know. And then about halfway through, finally started to get into the action, started to get into the butt kicking action that Kyung Lee is known for, and his thick ladies as well. That took a little bit, but after that, the first book just took off. I mean, after that, it was just a kind of a freight train of just action and adventure and all that sorts of stuff. But, he did have to, set the table a little bit. There was actually a bigger world out there than just kind of what Battle Maiden was going through and everything. So, it took a little bit of time for that. But once it got going, man, oh man, it got going. The other great thing about Battle Maiden, the first book, Battle Maiden is a great character. Don't get Bear wrong. There's nothing. Talk all day about Battle Maiden and kind of her character arc and everything. It's one thing to have a great main character, your title character. It's another thing to have a great main character battling a great villain. And that's actually what Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb #1 had, was the great, I think it was Berserker. I keep trying to say Beardzerker, and all respect to Don Chen. No, it's not Beardzerker. It's I think it's Berserker. A great character. Bear was trying to go back and kind of go through his noggin here, trying to remember, some of the great CG villains out there. Probably what was his name? Van Helsing from the first 2 Graveyard Shift 1 and 2. He was a really good villain. I like that. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, after that, Bear really has to think and scratch his head. Maybe you guys have some ideas out there, but it was kind of hard to come up with a great. You always fighting against somebody, but I think actually I've got it right here. I'll show it in just a second. But Kyung had kind of a little artist book, or kind of an expansion book that he was talking about, and in there he was talking about how great a character Berserker was, and how great it was to write that character. Basically, the dialogue came out. If you read the book, it's a really interesting kind of dichotomy between how Berserker talks and how kind of Battle Maiden talks. What are her name? Saya, I think is her actual name, or something like that. So anyways, so they had, yes, we do need a character called Beardzerker. Grrrr. I like that. Let's see. P-Money also says, my wife just saw the screen, and she says, well, on the bright side, you can't cheat on me with a 2D drawing. No, you can't. So, no, but I tell you what, both of these books are very good, and it's not, they're really good characters. I mean, sure, you can look at the pretty pictures and everything, but Battle Maiden's pretty well very fleshed out, should I say that? A very well fleshed out character there. Has the great character arc there. Also, Berserker as well has a great character arc. So Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb #1. Try saying that 3 times fast. Was Bear's #1 book. Out of all the Comicsgate books that have been out or come out, night and day. one of the great ones out there. Battle Maiden 2 basically starts up right where the first book ends up. The two characters are fighting, Battle Maiden and Berserker. They're out there fighting it out, battling it out and everything. And, they get to, basically they fight to a draw. Berserker, is able to escape, to come back another time or something like that. And you're figuring, okay, all right, at the very end of the book, they're going to get right back into it, and it's going to be a great and awesome fight. No. And again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I'm not going to try and spoil it for anybody, but no, it basically took the world building of the first book and just multiplied it times 5. It was the very beginning of the book was kind of the reverse of the first book, because there was a lot of great action that happened within the first 10 or 15 pages or so. And then after that, it was a lot of exposition, a lot of, let me see if I can show here real quick. Bear with Bear for 1 second while he grabs it. I'll grab the book here. Grab the book. Actually, it came out with a really cool, what does he call it here? What does he call it? A supplement, a very cool supplement. It talks about, actually, the whole book is nothing but characters and some background and stuff like that. But let me just show you here real quick. Here's the book, by the way. Book. Here we are. You only got two. He only had 2 options. So you had kind of just the regular book, and then you had kind of the, I forget what it was called, kind of like the deluxe version or something like that came with the extra book. What does he call it? The C2 supplemental, as it were. So anyway, he's got that. Very nice book. It was a read through, man. It took quite a while. Anyways, it's got the different character. That's our new main bad guy. We'll get to that in just a second. But it talks about all the different. He likes the cards, so it's got all the different stats and stuff like that that's on there. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Let me bring the over here. There we are. Didn't want to just be jabberjawing and nobody can hear. But anyway, so the whole book is nothing but characters and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to show you here real quick if I can get to it. The claws just aren't what they used to be. There we are. Okay. So here is the entire. Let me see if I can get to them all. The entire Battle Maiden. Let's see if I can turn this on real quick. Get some better light. Is it on? There we go. There we are. So there's the entire cast of characters, at least in this book, the past 2 books, of Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. I don't know. How many is that? A good 20? 25 characters there. So let's see. There's Berserker right there. There we are. And then Battle Maiden right there. And then a whole bunch of other characters that. So what happened? Let me get the microphone back over. 1 second. Sorry, people. There we are. So what happened was. I can't remember. Did Kyung Lee ever offer the comic digitally? I don't think so. I don't think it was. Although, let me just say, just real quickly, to any of the comics gate artists out there, especially if you've gotten your 2nd or 3rd book or something like that out, one of the things that Bear did was actually go back and read the first book. It had been about a year. It had been about a year since he had checked that out, so need a little bit of kind of a refresh course there. So I went back, checked out the first book, and then actually read this, which took a while. All the characters in there because just wanted to kind of refresh and kind of get to the idea and everything. I would suggest for any of the artists out there that are putting out book 2 or book 3, and your first book came out a year and a half. If you're the Red Rooster, 2 years ago. Well, actually, his book didn't even come out until just this year. But, if it takes 2 years or something like that, maybe have a very 2-page, 3-page kind of previously on the first book. Here's what happened. If not that, maybe offer the digital comic. Have it as a reduced quality so people aren't taking it and reprinting it and that sort of deal. But Yeah, I think to be able to catch people up, especially if you don't have the first book or the first two books, and you're kind of jumping right on into the action in the second book or the third book or something like that. I think having something like that actually helps. Oh, okay, this is what happened. Okay, so and so is connected to so and so. All right, now I can go forward and stuff like that. So I think that would be something that some of the artists out there might want to kind of take a look at in the future or something like that. So, no, I don't think Kyung ever offered it digitally. He might offer the first one digitally. Kyung is a lot like your boy Zach, where basically he offers, let's see, the last campaign I think had 4 items. It was the book, I think 2 books, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it was a book and something that came with it. He offered a sketch cover book, and then he also offered a 11 by 9 sketch as well, or drawing, whatever. This campaign, he only offered the book, and then also the book with the supplemental. So that was it. That was, it wasn't like Baskin Robbins where you got 32 flavors. I mean, you got 2 choices. That was it. So that was it. So yeah, I don't think he's offered a digital version, but Bear could be wrong. He could be wrong. Let's see. I never knew about the standard edition. I might get that. Yeah, definitely check out the standard because yeah, he offers it. I believe it's at a lower price, and it just kind of comes in a format where it's easily not readable, but it's not as in pristine condition as the premiere editions. It's got the rougher pages and stuff like that. So yeah, I would definitely would recommend checking it out and everything. So all right, where was Bear at? He was talking about that. He was talking about something. Yeah, Andrew J says, I like that. Just keep it simple. Yeah, I don't mind if he would have additions to it. Like he's got his Mirakumo, however you pronounce it, store where he does like the challenge coins and all the other stuff. I think that would be neat to do an add-on once you get the product. But yeah, just offer 1 or 2. Really missed out on. Was hoping that he would do a sketch cover this time, but that's all right. That's all right. Okay, where was Bear? Anyways, he was talking about. I lost my place, but book number 2 kind of starts right back up where book 1 ends up. But then they kind of go into a lot of exposition for all the characters that they introduced. You saw all the different characters that they introduced. And that was kind of a downside to Bear because in the first book, they basically set it up. It's basically a your super soldier type situation. So you get your normal person, your Captain America type. And then, he gets injected with the sermon, or in this case, her, and transforms into the superhero or whatever. So in the story for the first book, they were experimenting on different people and, it wasn't turning out right. Battle Maiden's uncle was, in charge of all that stuff. And one night, Battle Maiden meets up with the uncle, and Berserker shows up and basically shoots Battle Maiden. So now I hope I'm not spoiling this for a year-old book here, but anyways, goes into the lab there to save his niece and injects her with the serum that he'd been working on. So she gets the superpowers, but without Mirakumo. Thank you. I have it right in front of me, but sometimes Bears, I tell you what. Now, he can speak English, just not Japanese. What can you do? What can you do? So anyways, where was I? Let me take a drink. There we are. So in the first book, they have kind of implying. In fact, they show a lot of the stuff where they have the different monsters. I'm just going to call them monsters. The different monsters that they've created. And one of them had escaped from the lab. So they had kind of a little side story in the very first book talking about one of the mutants or monsters that escaped. And then it shows kind of a rogues gallery, I suppose, of the different monsters. And you figure, oh, okay, he's taking a lot of inspiration from video games and stuff like that. So in the first book, you have kind of I'm trying to remember the name of the character. I forget. It was sort of like a a monkey type character, I suppose, that Battle Maiden had to fight first. So if you kind of think of the video game situation, kind of like maybe a mid-level boss, if you're, like a Super Mario Brothers game or something like that, you got the mid-level boss, and then Berserker would be the level boss or something like that. So okay, they've defeated the first level boss. All right, now another monster is going to get out, and Battle Maiden's going to have to fight them and all this other stuff. So no, none of that. That basically gets kind of broomed aside, and a lot of the time that was spent kind of building that up in the first series was kind of just kind of tossed to the side to make room for a new story and a new characters, I should say, a whole bunch of different characters. Instead of just kind of continuing with that story. And basically, and not to ruin the story, I'm not going to give anything away or anything like that, but it has a kind of a supernatural element to it. So there's some interesting things there where there's a character. I think I showed her very briefly when I was doing the supplemental, the main bad guy character, and she kind of is a character from beyond our realm, I suppose, and she kind of creates these foes for Battle Maiden out of like clay and stuff like that. So it's kind of I forget what the name of the golem monsters, kind of something like that. So it kind of shifts between these sort of super soldier serum fighting monsters sort of deal to going to a supernatural thing, which Bear wasn't, that's not a bad idea, but it should have waited till issue 3 or issue 4 or something like that. There wasn't enough build-up for that. In the first issue, there was plenty of build-up for it. It was slow at first, but then once the action started, I mean, man, oh man, I mean, now you've kind of laid the groundwork, let her go, let her battle out and all that other stuff, and now you're having to redo a lot of the stuff, so... Let's see. Hyde was the character. Thank you, Andrew J. Oh, good to see you, Miguel. Good to see you. Bear has a Knuckle Bomb only fan subscription. No. So, so a lot of the time and I would say pages that was spent in Battle Maiden #1 was kind of broomed aside, and now you have to introduce new characters, which is taking up more pages. Which kind of distracted from the story. You had Kyung. Let me just say this: Kyung is a great artist, and he has improved his art. I mean, from this, I mean, you can just tell from the covers. I mean, the second cover is a lot better, I think. So, let me turn off this light. It's reflecting. There we go. So it won't reflect there. So he's doing a really great job with the artwork. He's doing a really, really, really good job with the writing. I was really surprised with all the character arcs. Again, with the supplemental book here, there we are. There we go. He develops this huge world around it, but the downside is he just kept building the world, just kept making the world bigger rather than kind of playing within that sandbox a little bit. So the second book kind of has a little bit of a slightly less, if I was to rate Battle Maiden as a 10, the first book, the second would be kind of a 9 or 9.5. Not that it's bad or terrible or anything like that, but it's just wasn't, it didn't complete the stuff that it was going for in the first book, just to expand the story for the second and third and fourth installments. The best way that Bear can kind of describe the two, and this isn't a knock, this isn't an insult, this isn't anything other than just kind of the way that Bear kind of thought about it, kind of going through everything. Again, not as a knock or anything like that, but if the first Battle Maiden was the very first Iron Man, the second Battle Maiden would be Iron Man 2. And I don't mean that in a negative light. I mean that in the second Iron Man, they decided, oh, okay, the first movie did really well. We're going to make another movie, and then it's going to be the series. So they started introducing a whole bunch of new characters, your Black Widows and whoever, in the second movie, when they really didn't, they just needed to concentrate on the, oh gosh, what was his name? the Russian Iron Man. What was his name? I would say Igor or Ivan or something like that. That should have been the main villain of the story. It ended up being he kind of got a whole lot of scenes cut, and then you're introducing a whole bunch of different characters and all this other stuff. It just didn't flow as well as the first movie did. You kind of had your sort of coming of age character story, and then your origin story, I suppose, and then you got your main villain there, defeat the main villain, go on to the next one, rah 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 rah. Well, the second one kind of let it down because they were so concentrated on the world building that they forgot to, oh well, hey, wait a minute, we're making a movie, let's just make sure that the movie is as good as possible, and then maybe if we want to expand the world or something like that, we can do that. I think the Marvel movies started to do that a little bit better, probably after the second Iron Man, where they would do kind of the, what do they call that? The post-credit scenes. So a lot of the world building would be going on in the post-credit scenes. You would see the new villain coming up, or whatever the next movie was going to be. Oh, okay, you guys have something to look forward to there. So yeah, I think if Bear was going to rate it, I mean, again, one of Bear's. Listen, this is probably better than, I don't know, 85% of most of the Comicsgate stuff out there. And that's not a swipe against Comicsgate or anything like that. But, Bear was kind of trying to think. He's like, okay, Kyung is doing a really good job writing. I mean, that's a hard thing. Which, by the way, he actually had a video the other day. I'd encourage you guys to watch that, talking about writing and stuff like that. But, yeah, in the second book, it just kind of took a little bit of a step back. But anyways, trying to think of the Comicsgate writers out there that you can kind of name. I mean, I can, maybe name a couple of them. Mark Polton did the Graveyard Shift series. Let's see, who did the Punchline? I want to say Fowler. Is it Matt Fowler? Anyways, the writer for Punchline, I think that was a great writer. I think, oh gosh, it's another four-name one. The robot one. Oh gosh, Brian. What? Gosh, come on, Bear. Gunship Thunder Punch. There we go. Sometimes the brain just doesn't work there. Brian there. A couple other artists maybe, but I mean, you don't really think of Comicsgate as this sort of, oh wow, that's some really great writing. Usually it's a lot of artists out there, and works fine. That's all fine. There's nothing wrong with that or anything like that. But maybe sometimes the writing comes it's second, third or fourth or something like that. Kyung is doing a really great job with Chuck Dixon. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I don't know. Yeah, you might be right there, P Money. I'm not sure. You know what? I will, even though he's not in Comicsgate, I will give the Dirtworm. I will give Doug credit for being a good writer. He does do some good writing. I'll give Doug credit for that. But again, he's not really in Comicsgate, so how do you So anyways, yeah, I can't really think of that many great writers, and then combining a great writer with a great artist, whether they're separate or whether they're the same people. So Kyung is doing a really good job with the writing. I just felt that, again, there was too many characters that was going on there. It kind of got muddled down. Every time you try and introduce a new character, you're kind of taking away a little, unless it's part of the momentum. Usually when you introduce a new character, you got kind of taking away just a little bit of the momentum there, because you got to set up the characters. You got to spend, at least a couple panels, maybe a page or so. Okay, this is who this character is. This is why they do their thing, yada, yada, yada. And I think Kyung did a really good job with that. It was just adding too many characters at a time. If he had kind of went with the rogues gallery of the different monsters or mutants or something like that, and then maybe towards the end of the comics kind of hint towards this new, sort of ethereal character from not beyond the grave, but beyond the world. I think that would have worked out just fine. I think introducing it in, gosh, I want to say it was the fourth, what I'd call chapter. No, actually, I think it was at the end of the third chapter. They introduced the basically went from kind of sort of corporate sort of espionage sort of stuff. They had different corporations in the very first book, and so it kind of felt like, oh, okay, this corporation versus that corporation and this and that. It turns out that the corporation was working for, I don't know what you'd call it, the devil, I don't know, whatever. So it kind of took the things from a little bit more of a, I don't know how you would describe a young lady who takes a special serum and becomes a superhero as realistic, but kind of took it from the realistic realm to the kind of, kind of fantasy realm, I suppose. So it kind of was just, it wasn't a bad choice. It was just, I think it was a little too soon. I think you needed a little bit more with Battle Maiden going on and then lead into it as like the third book or something like that. So, all right, let's see. I think Miguel says, I think it's a problem inherited from the industry. The independents have a limited number of editors to tell the story, while the industry can dictate comics only from Batman's prostate exam. That's right. Oh, wow. Coming soon, Batman's prostate exam. Batman's prostate exam. Yeah, so, and there was a whole... Bear's not trying to get into it or, even comment on. There was something going on earlier in the week, maybe late last week. Bear had his head buried in the sand between comic writers and comic artists, and who's getting credit, who's not getting credit. Yeah, Bear's not making a comment on any of that. That's not where he's coming from or anything like that. Again, I think, like he said, Battle Maiden's probably better than 80 to 85% of the comics gate comics out there, but the comics gate comics are miles and miles and miles ahead of just your regular stuff out there. So that's not a knock, that's not a complaint, that's not a criticism of any of the creators or artists out there. Bear could probably do on one hand the amount of books that he's either gotten or seen out there that have just been meh. I think a lot of this stuff is fine. I think once we get a little bit more into it, you're going to see a lot of the different creators. Hey, this is a great artist linking up with a good writer and kind of going from there. I think that's going to be kind of a little bit of what's going on in the future. I think once a lot of the creators kind of go through their first or second iteration of whatever iteration of comics that they're coming out with, oh, okay, I put out this IP. Well, now I need another one. Okay, who do I go to, where do I go? Who's got a good idea? That sort of deal. So I think we'll see a little bit more of that in the near future. Beer hoops. Oh, the one last thing, and it's, gosh, it might be a manga thing. Bear's not really sure. He hasn't really read that many manga. Well, Bear's only read 2 manga books, and both of them are in Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. So I don't know if this is too much of a criticism or not, but the very first book was a pretty straightforward sort of action, adventure sort of comic book. There were some elements of humor in there, but it was very, very few and far between. And not that that's a bad thing. It was just, this is the story we need to tell, and if we can tell a joke in here, that's great, but that wasn't the main focus. There's a lot more humor in this book. But it also kind of has this thing where he did it in the first book, where Bear liked it, kind of transitioning from scenes or as a voiceover of some kind. They would have kind of the characters, but they would be kind of drawn in this sort of cutesy sort of cartoon way, and then they would have their little dialogue and they would be talking back and forth. That actually worked. That actually was fine. Bear liked that very much. It continues in the book here. Let me see if I can find it real quick, but it was switching back and forth in the panels between what I would kind of consider a serious looking character. You'd have your character in there, and then it would cut to the cutesy version of the character, and then it would cut back, displaying emotion. So if the character was embarrassed, or if the character was pretty much embarrassed or one of those emotions, they would kind of cut to the sort of cutesy look to it, and that kind of distracted Bear a little. Let me see if I can bear with Bear for 1 second as he goes through the book here, just to open it up. But yeah, it had this sort of kind of cutesy look to it. Let me see if I can find it here. It was more distracting than anything else, but it might be just because that it's a manga, and that might be the sort of thing with the manga. Oh, there's the guy looking at the his adult stuff that's going on there. Let me see if I can find it. Ah, okay. This might not be the best. This might not be the best version. Let's see if I can find another one. Well, there's this one right here with the kids, which kind of had the look to it. Let me show you here. So you can kind of see the kids there. They kind of got that sort of cutesy look. That's not what I'm talking about. You got he's checking out Battle Maiden right there, but he goes from the sort of normal, although he's crying there, sort of normal look, and that's what I'm talking about. The sort of cutesy sort of look to it. Oh, you can't see it. There we are. There we are. So it goes to that, but then, like right here, he kind of goes between, like, this sort of cutesy sort of cartoon look to the sort of regular look that he had, and it's fine when they do that with like the character that's talking. There we go. I don't mind that, but when it kind of was going in between panels, and Bear's gonna have to go through it and find a better example of that. But yeah, it kind of was a little bit distracting, just a little bit. But I tell you what, I mean, out of all the stuff, out of 1 to 10 is a 9.5. I think Bear's really just kind of nitpicking at some of the stuff here. The first book was just slightly better, but yeah, the second book, when he comes up with the campaign, I wouldn't discourage anybody from getting it. Definitely check it out. If you didn't get it the first round, I would say definitely check out these premium versions that they had here. If you're interested in collecting or anything like that. One of the cool things is they actually come numbered. I don't know if you could see that up there, but they actually do come numbered, so that's pretty cool. Bear Cuts. Number 207. There we are. All right, let me go back here. See if anybody has anything to say. All right, let me get out of that real quick. And go back. I hope that doesn't work. Oop, there we go. There we are. All right. LOL, I'm saying Battle Maiden is Iron Man 2 in the nicest possible way. No, seriously. Just based on the amount of characters that they were introducing. Not trying to do apples to apples of the movie. I mean, a lot of people have some very, very divisive things about that movie, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, the main thing Bear considers wrong with that movie is they just added too many characters. They just flushed it with too much stuff. Kind of the equivalent of, I guess I would say, the Batman versus Superman movie, where they just like introduced Wonder Woman. Just, okay, here's Wonder Woman. Here's the bad guy. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, whatever. You really needed to kind of ease into that and kind of maybe get a movie of Wonder Woman first before she kind of comes in. So maybe, well, I don't know which one would be worse to compare it to. Would it be Iron Man 2 or would it be Batman versus Superman? I don't know. But anyways, just trying to compare adding too much world building without playing in that sandbox. I think that's where he kind of ever so slightly dropped the ball there. Let's see. I haven't seen much promotion of other creators on YouTube lately. Bear does his part. Try to do campaign reviews or different book reviews or that sort of deal. Box openings, all that good stuff. But as far as other artists and whatnot, yeah, usually they've kind of stuck with their own clique sort of deal. One of the cool things I didn't realize, or forgot, I should say, on the first Battle Maiden, he did a he did a what do you call that? The artist we send in where you send him in. Oh gosh, come on, brain, think for a second. Anyways, a number of different art, the fan art. Gosh, I tell you what, one of these days I'll do a professional show. So there's a number of people that sent in fan art. One of them was Siege. I didn't realize, hashtag under Siege. I didn't realize didn't realize she'd sent one in. So there we go. So yeah, I think a lot of them are just kind of sticking to their own little cliques and everything and are afraid to kind of go outside of their bounds and whatnot. I mean, early on, you can pretty much go to Uncle Lee's channel and then he would have all these different people. Wouldn't have ever known about Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb if it wasn't for Uncle Lee. And hell, you can go down the list. Wouldn't have known about Mike Miller. Wouldn't have known about, da 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 da. So, yeah, I wish there was a little bit more of that. Although I would exempt Uncle Lee from that because his book is hella light and it needs to, I think that needs to be the priority rather than trying to do the 25-minute introductions to his videos there. Turn around. I don't know the rest of the song, but I remember the turnaround part. All right, let's see. Miguel says that is the chibi style. They use it a lot of manga and anime. Okay. Well, the only thing that Bear saw was that it was just jumping from panel to panel back and forth. That was Bear's only thing. I guess it's an emotional thing. I don't know, but there you are. Again, it's minor, nitpicky. Hey, I haven't seen that before, so it scares and frightens me. That sort of deal. But otherwise, it was fine. Didn't have a problem with it. Okay, gotta head out, Bear. Talk to you soon. Well, thank you, P-Money. I'm glad to have you here. As always, let me see. Oh, it's 9:02. Oh, what's the score? Forget this. Still nothing and nothing. I tell you what. So, all right. Well, yeah. I think with that, we're probably gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Let's see. Did I get to everything? Yeah. We got everything. We got our musical intro, the jail update, the campaign updates, the review that we got going on. So yeah, all that great stuff. We always try to do fun stuff for you here. So all right. See Sonic Boom Squadron and YouTube. Okay, all right. Let me write that down. Sonic Boom Squadron. Okay, yeah, we'll check it out. Thank you for the advice, Miguel. It's good to see you here as well. Good to see Andrew J. Good to see everybody else here. Do appreciate you guys coming by. We try to do this every Wednesday and Saturday. Whether or not there is a tropical system outside or not, we try to get to the show here. Anyways, so it's great to have you guys here. Maybe if they do the auctions, maybe see you guys over there. If not, we'll see you here the next time, because you know what? All this jibber jabber, it's made Bear hungry, so he's gonna head back into the woods. So until next time, people, grrrr.